Taxman Jr. to Philadelphia. That's what we're talking about on today's Philadelphia Eagles Now by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr. Thanks for hanging out here with us as the Clemson linebacker and the son of Eagles legend Jeremiah Trotter confirmed today from the NFL Scouting Combine here in Indianapolis that he's met with the Birds. Could be a day 2 or day 3 selection, and we know going into the offseason, the Eagles desperately need linebacker help after the middle area of that defense was gashed consistently last year in 2023. Before we dive into all of this, and you're going to hear from Jeremiah Trotter Jr., interview to come just around the corner. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Let me ask you a question. Do you want daily shows on the Birds? Do you want content that's informative, insightful, and entertaining that separates itself from other Eagles content creators? This is your solution. This is your go-to spot, and every single move that the Eagles make, all access at the Super Bowl last year, at the Super Bowl this year, here at the Combine, we do it all. Make sure you hit that sub button right now. All right, what do the Eagles desperately need on the defensive side of the ball going into the 2024 season? And what's a position that Howie Roseman has neglected? It's the linebacker spot. And they were able to develop a really good linebacker in TJ Edwards, who went from a UDFA, roster fringe guy as a rookie, special teamer, to developing into one of the best off-ball linebackers, capitalizing in 2022 with a really, really good season. That's why he got paid by the Chicago Bears, and the Eagles decided to not invest in him. They really paid for it in 2023. Middle area of the field was just targeted often by other offenses, and the Eagles had no answers. Zach Cunningham played solid, but Nakobe Dean got hurt. Nicholas Morrow was terrible in coverage, and now Philadelphia has an opportunity to reset at that position and draft a cost-affordable and cost-efficient player that would be a really good story, who's also a really good player in Jeremiah Trotter Jr. Help at the linebacker position is what the Eagles need, and the Eagles have an opportunity here to draft an Eagles legend son in Jeremiah Trotter Jr. You look at the Eagles selections upcoming in April's 2024 NFL Draft. They're on the board, on the clock first, round 1, 22nd overall. Then they have the 50th overall pick. Then they're back on the clock a couple of selections later, 53rd pick in that second round. This could be the range here where the Eagles could target Trotter Jr. out of Clemson, who played and really thrived under Dabo Swinney, grew up in New Jersey right across the bridge from Lincoln Financial Field. They have a compensatory pick in round 3, round 5 pick from Tampa Bay. Then they have 3 compensatory picks in round 5. Round 6, a selection from Atlanta. That's 9 total picks as of right now with no further trades for Howie Roseman in this front office. And I think when I scout Jeremiah Trotter Jr. and when I ask some people here at the NFL Combine who are draft experts, much more so than me, probably going to go round 2, maybe round 3. He's a day 2, day 3 guy. So here with Trotter Jr., you can address a need. You can draft a building block for your defense, who I think could be a franchise pillar, and it would be a great story. Great feel and instincts. That's what Trotter has, and it makes up for some of his deficiencies on the defensive side of the ball as an off-ball linebacker. He said today that his strength being involved in some of these blitz calls. Vic Fangio likes to do a little bit of that, so he can play off-ball, but he can be a part of the rush if you send extra pressure on some of those stunts, those delays, those twists, or those overall blitzes to try to generate pressure on the opposing quarterback. Some comps to Nick Bolton. It's not expected that Trotter Jr. is going to blow people away here at the Combine with some of his measurables and his testing numbers. But Nick Bolton didn't either. When he was coming out of Colorado, he's ended up being a backbone for Steve Spagnuolo's defense on that blitz call. Trent McDuffie, corner blitz on Brock Purdy, critical moment in Super Bowl 58. Spags actually called a timeout, and he signaled to Bolton through the headset because Bolton rocks the green dot. I'm thinking about this play call. What do you think? Bolton said yes. So he's a heady player. Trotter is as well. That's where some of the comps come from. They're somewhat similar in stature. I think that Bolton is just a little bit bigger. And while Trotter Jr. can struggle a little bit in coverage because he's a little bit shorter, I think he makes up for it with great feel and great instinct. Sometimes we just go overboard with the measurables. How much did he rep? 225 on the bench press. What was the 40-yard dash? What was the 10-yard split, the shuttle? Sometimes I don't care. Can you read when a run is coming and which hole that run is going to go through? Can you read if it's going to be a crosser or what that route's going to be for a wide receiver or a running back coming out of the backfield? Trotter Jr. can do that. Jeremiah Trotter Sr. said a couple of years ago, I guarantee you he's going to be better than I was. He's already better than I was at this stage. And for Vic Fangio, new Niners defensive coordinator, getting rave reviews here in Indianapolis because you think about where Philadelphia's position at the coordinator spots, Brian Johnson, Sean Desai last year, so inexperienced. Not the case for the Eagles here this year. Vic Fangio, Kellen Moore, very, very experienced. And Vic Fangio has a linebacker background and develops linebackers at a really, really nice rate. Jeremiah Trotter Jr.'s father, Jeremiah Trotter Sr., for those of you who are a little bit younger, this is right in my wheelhouse because my love for the game of football was really crafted and formed in this era. Jeremiah Trotter Sr. played with the Eagles 1998 to 2001, became a star under legendary defensive coordinator Jim Johnson, who you see here to my right. He goes to Washington, gets paid in free agency after he was an All-Pro, comes back to the Eagles after struggling a little bit, 2004 to 2006. Really, really good player for Andy Reid. First team All-Pro in 2000, second team All-Pro in 2001, and overall a four-time Pro Bowler in his great NFL career, which spanned about a decade, all with Philadelphia. 2001, 2002, 2004, and 2005. That was good enough for Jeremiah Trotter Sr. to be recognized and honored and inducted into the Philadelphia Eagles Hall of Fame. So just a really cool story here, and people have been clamoring, all of you, many of you, for the Eagles to draft Jeremiah Trotter Jr., and I just think it makes sense for a variety of reasons. Now, we talk about Trotter Sr., Eagles legend, being the father of Trotter Jr. Here's what the son had to say about his dad being in the National Football League and how that kind of helps him in this pre-draft process.
My dad, being in the league, growing up, being around the game basically my whole life, he's taught me a lot, about playing the linebacker position. And it's definitely helped me get to this position here, and I give a lot of credit to him. And I really thank him for, everything that he's taught me.
Good stuff right there from the son, Axeman Jr. And when you think about having a father who played at the NFL level, you might think that that dad is like overly controlling, and that could be hard to deal with for a son trying to live up to the expectations of that father. That could certainly be a real thing. But I thought it was pretty interesting as I was listening to Trotter Jr. conduct this media interview and session with everybody on hand just a few hundred feet away from where our set is here on Radio Row in Indianapolis for the Combine. There was a large media gathering for a linebacker who's going to go on day 2, day 3. A lot of those people, Philadelphia members of the media. But Trotter Jr. said, there was a nice little hybrid during my upbringing of my dad being too tough on me, but being understanding. Here's more on that.
He found a really good balance of being, tough, when I needed to, but, also pat me on the back, giving congratulations and telling me good job when I need that as well. So he found a good, balance between, coaching and also being a dad, which I appreciate him for.
Now, all of that is cool and all, right? But coming up next, what did Jeremiah Trotter Jr. reveal as far as his meeting with the Philadelphia Eagles, his dad playing for the Birds under Andy Reid and Jim Johnson, and whether or not he'd like to play and rock the midnight green moving forward, because he did speak pretty glowingly of this current state of the Eagles organization. Stay tuned for that. You don't want to miss it. But first, today's Eagles Now is sponsored by Prize Picks, the largest independently run daily fantasy sports app in North America, and the best and number one daily fantasy sports app in general right here in North America. $100 deposit match at prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS for that deal to apply. It's daily fantasy sports made easy, and it's very simple to use and a free download. You pick 2 or more players, you choose more or less on the projected stats, and I understand that the 2023 NFL season is in the rear view after the culmination of the season with the Super Bowl, Niners, Chiefs, Kansas City unfortunately winning yet again, but that doesn't mean that you can't still get those selections in with Prize Picks. Major League Baseball coming up, NBA in session, the big tournament is coming up around the corner. Here are my picks that I really, really like for this beautiful Wednesday with all of my beautiful people. Let's all win money together, which is a beautiful thing. Luka Doncic, Dallas Mavericks against the Toronto Raptors. Let's go more than 32.5 points. And Kobe White 20.5 points. Bulls, Cleveland. We're going to go less there. So more for Luka Doncic, less for Kobe White. That's how the game works. You can win tons of money playing Prize Picks. We're going to put all of this information down below in the comment section, as well as in the description of this video. prizepicks.com/CLNS. You pick more, you pick less, you win a lot of money. Prize Picks, make sure you sign up today. prizepicks.com/CLNS. Now, producer Chris, you can come back to me. And by the way, everybody watching right now, type Chris in the comment section.
He told me stories about, when he played for Eagles.
In Cincinnati, working with our Cowboys Report host, Tom Downey. F. Dallas, of course. How about them Cowboys? But he does a great job. And we're based in Dallas, Texas, right? So I was supposed to work with Chris back before our holiday party in December or January, but I got really, really sick. So we're finally able to work together. It's been too long of a wait, and he's been crushing it here at Chat Sports. So type Chris down in the comment section to show him some love. Trotter Jr., going back to him, on his dad playing for the Eagles. Of course, we had to ask him that question because Trot, 4-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro. Here's what Trotter Jr. had to say about what his pops had to say about his experiences playing in the city of brotherly love.
He's told me stories about, when he played for Eagles, I've been told different things and, like, the great time he had with that organization. And, the Eagles, they're a great team, great club, and, it'd be a blessing to be able to, play for them as well. I'm just, really just, waiting for the opportunity, go wherever I go, and I'd be happy wherever I land.
And Axeman Sr. has had nothing but great things to say about the Eagles organization. Legendary career, had a lot of success in Philadelphia, so that comes as no surprise. There's also this. A lot of people, and I've seen you in the comment section, saying, Trotter Jr., he's a little bit too small. He's a liability in coverage. I don't really like that. I think that the Eagles would only be drafting him to fulfill a story and to make his dad be happy. I couldn't think that that's farther from the truth. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. thinks that he's a 3-down linebacker. I do as well. I think this would be a great value pick. And again, I love instincts at the linebacker position. He's not as small as Nakobe Dean, and he's a better player than Nakobe Dean.
I feel like I have a lot of capability of being a 3-down linebacker. I have a wide variety of talent in, like, my game and a lot of versatility. But there's a lot of linebackers in this draft class that, I tip my hat off to. Because they're great linebackers, they're great players, and guys that I also watch and really respect their games.
The Vic Fangio system, linebacker experience for Fangio, better coaching staff on the defensive side of the ball. Jeremiah Trotter Jr., his pops, starring for Philadelphia. It all makes so much sense. And we're going to round out with this. Was Jeremiah Trotter Jr. asked about meeting with the Eagles, and what did he have to say? Of course he was asked about that, and he spoke glowingly of the current status of this organization.
I've talked to the Eagles. Everybody was there. Coach Nick, and then Howie. Great guys. Brought great energy. Really got good vibes from them. Really respect what they're doing with their club, and that would be a blessing to be able to play for them if it comes down to them picking me.
So to summarize everything before we hop on out of here, Eagles' biggest weakness last year on defense, middle area of the field. Their linebackers were susceptible to giving up splash plays. Their linebacking play was awful. Howie Roseman never really invests a ton of money into the linebacker position. You take Trotter Jr. in the second or third round, that's a cost-controlled asset and a building block where you're addressing an area of weakness for a defensive coordinator who values linebackers, does a great job of developing that position, and you have the storyline, which is fun, of course, to talk about, which in the business world doesn't matter, but his pops has history with this team and was a star for this organization. It makes too much sense, and as a prospect, I really like what Trotter Jr. could bring to Philadelphia. We'll see if the Eagles end up taking him, as he noted. With that, what do you think? Should the Eagles draft Trotter Jr.? I want you to give me a D for draft or a P for pass down below in the comment section. Let us know what you think about our content coming at you from Indianapolis for the Scouting Combine. And we're really only ramping up. We're going to be here through Saturday. Go Birds!